The Lurssen Mastering EQ by IK Multimedia is an emulation of the tube mastering EQ of the same name. But will it be special enough to check out? Let's find out. The Lurssen Mastering EQ is part of the T-RackS bundle and available as individual plugin. In this video I'll review it as a standalone plugin and not inside T-RackS. The plugin is a very straightforward 5-band EQ, where the lowest and highest bands are shelf type. The 3 in the middle are fixed parametric, there's no adjustable width. The bands next to the shelves have a big frequency overlap, only the middle one doesn't share selectable frequencies with the bands next to it. But with how wide these bands are, they absolutely influence each other. And also because of the width of each of these bands, the sound is very smooth. When you stay within a few decibels of either cut or boost, you will basically work on the global character of a master. It's the final touch to get this master to the next level, which is what you want with a plugin like this. The dials go to 34 for some reason, and that translates into around 18 decibels of cut or boost. Why these dials simply don't have an indication in decibels is beyond me. The travel of the knobs is very large, and this is good. It allows for very precise adjustments. 18 decibels is a lot for mastering, by the way. Often you will only use a few decibels. The frequency bands themselves are non-linear. Changing frequencies will change both width and shape of the curve. And with gain changes, these change even more. I think this is nice because it forces you to really listen to what these EQ changes are doing, which is always good. For the rest, there's little going on in this plugin in functionality. No bells and whistles like parallel processing, oversampling or auto gain. You do get mid-side or left-right stereo modes, which is the least you want in a mastering EQ. A very welcome addition is the reset button though. This just sets every dial back to default when you want to start over from scratch. And I used this function a few times already because it's just too easy to dial in too much because of how smooth this plugin is. By already opening the plugin, the sound gets a tiny bit more brighter and sounding forward. That's because of the added harmonics. It's very subtle and unfortunately this doesn't translate in a YouTube video. This little color button changes the amount of harmonics you get. It's also a pretty subtle affair. By the way, you can turn off these added harmonics, then you end up with a very clean EQ only, but where's the fun in that? Now a bit more about the non-existing oversampling options. There's little to no aliasing already in 48 kHz. But most people will master in higher sample rates, and the aliasing is basically non-existing there. Nothing to worry about here. Now, before we continue, please make sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already and hit that little like button. This video is sponsored by DistroKid. If you need to split the revenue of your releases with multiple collaborators, DistroKid has splits. This enables you to, very simply, split the revenue you make. Add as many collaborators for a release you want and decide how much of the cake they get in percentages. On top of that, you can set recoupments as well, so if you agree on a fixed fee instead of royalties, this is the way to do that. Get 7% off of your first year with DistroKid by using the link in the description. Now the 5 bands of this plugin allow for a very smooth mastering EQ curve. But I think weirdly enough that 3 bands would also have done the job. 5 feels luxurious and almost too much, but let's not complain here. Here are some of the bands more in detail. The middle mid band is ideal to add some width when you use unlinked mid-side mode. Just increase the bands to create a more larger than life width. And since this is rather high up in the frequency spectrum, phase issues are pretty minimal. Now with how the low shelf works and with how far it extends, setting to 60 Hz can already sound too woolly. I found I ended up setting it lower than I normally do. The same goes for the high shelf. It extends a lot, down to 500 Hz even. But when you use it sparsely, this does add a nice smooth reduction to the high end. And all the added harmonics by the plugin will of course also add to the smoothness of the high end. Normally I suggest to try it out, but there are a few hurdles to take to do that. Even to try out the trial, you need to download the installation manager. The plugin is part of the T-RackS bundle, which means you have to download the entire T-RackS package if you want to try it out. This is a 3.22 GB big folder in my download drive. And that's just to try out this one plugin, not user-friendly by any means. You will also have to install all 63 plugins included with T-RackS. This can actually scare off an interested customer. Nevertheless, the Lurssen Mastering EQ sounds really nice, and the only real way to find out if you actually like it is to try it out. I'll see you in the next video.